Hello. Welcome to On My Mind, the podcast featuring yours truly, Michael Martinez. Last week I had a fun, chaotic episode with my college roommates. We went over a bunch of stories, some answers to Instagram's question, and of course, dissed each other for funsies. That episode even got copyright claimed, so YouTube didn't want to push it out as much, yet this episode did relatively well compared to the past couple of uploads. So, of course, thanks for listening every week. I appreciate you wherever and whoever you are. Anyway, I'm going solo this episode as we enter Thanksgiving break here at Bowdoin. Most students are heading back home, getting to enjoy the company of their friends and family. And I just want to emphasize how important that is. Even if family may not be the most comforting of people, so I can get that. But I mean, just spending time with people who not only you care about, but also care about you. And I mean, hey, if you're not going off campus, same. Yeah, and the travel expenses can be quite high, especially this time of year. So, support the podcast. Nah, who am I kidding? I don't even make money off of this thing. But I mean, yeah, anyway, we have high hopes. All right, which leads me to say, if you are new to On My Mind, why not subscribe? I know a lot of you listening are actually already subscribed. It's like a 90-10 split, so that's always good to see. But for those of you who are more recent to the show, hey, how you doing? Welcome to the show. Here at On My Mind, I try to give a friendly, open space for my friends and I to have casual and sometimes pretty serious conversations about whatever's on our minds. You'll find that I can be transparent about my life. Which may or may not be a cool thing, as I usually never cut things out of a recording, and that can be somewhat dangerous down the line. I don't know what I'm going to say. Not that it's going to be anything bad, but I don't want to expose my life too much. But yeah, anyway, we post new episodes across a variety of platforms every Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can find us here on YouTube. You could find us on Spotify, on Google and Apple Podcast, and a bunch of other podcasting platforms. Right, and you can also follow the show on Instagram at OMM the podcast. Although I've kind of been quiet there. Yeah, I mean, things have been busy. Yeah, I don't know. This is kind of feeling like a pretty long introduction, so I don't really have a structured plan today. I mean, you'll find that most episodes are like that anyway. Anyway, yeah, why don't we get the show started? From casual chatter to some reflections on life, probably. I present to you On My Mind. Roll the intro. I'm just kidding. We don't actually have an intro. I've been thinking about making a cute jingle or something for the show. I don't know. I just have to find time to do that. By the way, shout out to Insane in the Rain Music for the background music. You can check out his channel in the description. He does some awesome jazz music inspired from video game soundtracks. If you're ever in the need of some chill music to study or fall asleep to. And of course, I naturally went with the Pokemon Diamond and Pearl jazz soundtrack covers in celebration of Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl coming out. Definitely excited to be playing those. And it's 4 hours, so yeah, I'll leave a link to his channel in the description, like I mentioned. Did I mention it? I honestly don't know. But anyway, hi, welcome to On My Mind, the podcast. Right, so I mean, Pokemon music has always been kind of super fun for me. It's I just love how I can, listen to it just for fun. Oh, hello? Okay. I was not expecting that. Anyway, so I'm kind of alone this episode. That doesn't mean I'm lonely though. I mean, I got you guys listening, probably. But so as I was saying, Pokemon music, I don't know, it's like their soundtracks slap, not gonna lie. The video game music especially. And then of course, I think a lot of people know the anime kind of theme songs and stuff, which are also pretty nice, but I just love the instrumental music more. Which is kind of weird because usually I don't mind. Well, I mean, in terms of the other music that I listen to, it's kind of instrumental. If I like something about a song, 90% of the time it's going to be about the instruments or the musical composition, whatever, not the lyrics, anything but the lyrics, pretty much. Which, I mean, it's not like the vocals aren't a huge part to me. It's more so that, like, I mean, my favorite instrument to listen to is probably the drums. And I really like just melodic kind of fun stuff as well. And you'll get that a lot with Pokemon music, which is always nice and fun. And I mean, I don't know what the balance is between my voice and the recorded music. Hopefully I don't get copyrighted again, because like apparently I like had to look it up. I've been trying to find something to use as background music, and I didn't want to just use like, you know, old classical pieces that I know are free use. But I mean, I thought this kind of was pretty fitting for this weekend, so I was like, you know, might as well use it. And I tried looking for Sinnoh covers, and I thought about using Glitch X City, who makes more like lo-fi and electronic kind of remixes of Pokemon music, but that honestly was like way too hype for the vibe of my podcast. So I was just like, why don't we go for, you know, something more laid back and relax? And I mean, here we are. Hopefully it's nice, a good accompaniment to my voice. That way, you know, it's not entirely silent, considering I don't have anyone else on the show today. Yeah, and I was actually trying to record this in the Studio A, as some of you guys may know. I use that to record solo episodes, but I don't know, man. Like, I was having static coming out of the microphone, and then so like right now I'm listening to myself speak, but it's in real time. And in the other studio, it's kind of echoed, like I'll say something, and then you'll hear it in the headphones a second or like half a second later or something. And it's kind of hard to get used to, especially since I've been recording in Studio D for the past couple of weeks. Yeah, and I've been using this whole Rodecaster Pro kind of audio interface, which has been really cool. You know, it supports up to 4 microphones. You can record the audio from the computer. You can also connect the Bluetooth device to the Rodecaster, and that's how I'm actually playing music. I got my iPad connected to this thing. Yeah, so it's pretty nice. I like it. And yeah, I don't know how long I'm gonna go. Honestly, I'm probably just gonna keep recording until like I run out of things to say, which apparently isn't that short of a time. Actually, I can talk for a pretty long while, although like a ton of it is mostly just nonsense. And see, that's the thing. It's like why I'm kind of, well, like I don't know what I'm gonna say, kind of thing, because this show is mostly unscripted. Well, I mean, I don't know, the past couple of weeks have been unscripted, like entirely. Like I don't have no intro script or anything. But I don't know if you were able to catch on this episode, but I was totally reading off a script to start off the episode. Yeah, I try to write it so that it sounds like, okay, so that it sounds natural, because I kind of write the way I speak, but it's more so I feel like I speak the more like I write. I don't know if that makes sense. Like you can really you can hear my voice when I write. So I guess I do write like how I speak. I'm not sure. Actually, no, I guess that would make the most sense, Michael, you silly goose. Yeah, I don't know how would that even look like if you speak the way you write. I don't think anyone speaks the way. I don't think anyone speaks the way they write. Yeah, because sometimes I'd be sounding super formal in my essays, you know, and I'm not like pulling out of the thesaurus just to kind of find the most exquisite terms to use in normal conversation. So yeah, I kind of love writing, not gonna lie. We just kind of registered for courses throughout this week and last week. And yeah, so actually let me kind of say my schedule. I got what's it called? I got data structures, which is pretty much a Java based computer science class. It's important to me because, I wanted to take this because as a potential, I love this theme, as a potential computer science major, this is that course that pretty much opens up every other college. I mean, not every other computer science course, but I mean, like it opens up a lot of the higher level ones. And right now I'm currently in one of the intro classes, and that deals with Python, so I'm going to be switching languages. But I did Java in high school, so it shouldn't be that hard. And I mean, I feel like Java and Python are somewhat similar. It's just that with Java, I think you have to like explicitly name like variables. You have to put like var and then the variable name, whereas in Python you don't really need to do that. I probably sound like a total nerd right now, but yeah. And then I'm also planning on taking integral calculus, but like the advanced section. I did AP calculus AB my senior year of high school, so that's kind of like what I was placed into automatically. And yeah, there's only going to be like 11 kids in that class or so. Maybe more have registered since the last time I checked, but yeah, should be like I also wanted to take a math class because I think my current computer science professor mentioned that linear algebra and mathematical reasoning are the two classes that I should kind of be looking to take as a computer science major. Just because apparently those prove to be the most useful in programming. And so in order to like kind of get that, I need to take the integral calculus course, and then that'll open up multivariate calculus, which I'll probably take my first semester of my sophomore year, hopefully, if I get into it. And then from there, I should be able to take either linear algebra or mathematical reasoning. And I'll be getting that done probably around my junior year. I should be, or at least those are like the two math courses I want to take. Like at Bowdoin, you only need one math course as part of like the computer science major kind of requirements. And my professor was like, that's whack. So yeah, he's encouraging us to take more math classes because, it's more relevant and it'll overall just kind of benefit us in the long run anyway. So that's what I'm planning to do. Another class I want to take is introductory astronomy. So like my junior year, my junior year, like the summer going into sophomore year, senior year. My summer going into senior year, that's when like COVID hit, or at least that's when like everything kind of got shut down. Actually it got shut down in like the spring semester of my junior year. But anyway, I was gonna do a NASA internship. I had just gotten accepted into the JPL, like the NASA JPL program, in Pasadena, and I was gonna participate in that. It was gonna be like a paid internship where I'd work alongside actual NASA scientists and kind of help them do something. I'm not entirely sure what they would have put me up to do, but I think at the end of the program I would have been paid like $5,000, which is kind of insane, and definitely would have been really useful. But I mean, I like got accepted into the program, and then when the pandemic kind of like shut down everything, and we all kind of went into quarantine, that internship actually got canceled. So like it didn't even get postponed or anything, it just straight up got canceled for that summer. I don't know if they did it for the summer going into my college freshman year, but yeah, no, it was kind of unlucky, and it was like a whole roller coaster trying to get into. I had to create like a resume, and then I had to write like a letter or something, like saying why I want to be a part of this program. And And yeah, it's actually a crazy story. So I was completely unaware of how post offices worked, and I didn't know that they closed really, really early. I think they closed at like 5 or something. And back in the day when I think this was the fall semester of my junior year. Yeah, I think that's when I was like doing this application. And like I was what's it called? I had written my letter and it was ready to send, but I didn't know that it closed really early. And so when my mom asked, like, so did you finish like the entire application? I was like, yeah, I just had to send the letter through the mail. And she was like, oh, by when? And I was like, today, like, can we go? And then she was like, Michael, it was like 6 or something. And she was like, the post offices are already closed. You wouldn't be able to send it today. And when I tell you how crushed my heart was, like, it was straight up like I was so distraught. I was like, oh no. And then so my dad came from work at like 6ish, and then we kind of like, just last ditch effort, we went to the post office, and sure enough it was closed. And so I think I was actually crying. I was so excited for this, and like I really felt like I was a good candidate too. And I was like really excited for this opportunity. And then I can't believe that I had just thrown it away because I didn't know how something worked. And I was just like, damn, like that's the most stupid reason too. But then what's crazy is that as we were heading back, we like stopped at a stoplight, and guess who freaking parked, or like not parked, but like stopped right next to us? It was a like USPS truck or something. And so like we were at a red light, and my dad looked to the left. He was at the left of us, and I was just like defeated, in like the passenger seat. And then my dad's all like, he like, kind of like nudges me. He's all like, look. And then I'm like, what? And I turn around, I'm like, and then my dad rolls down the window. What a hero he is. And he like calls out to the guy. And I mean, you know how like the post office trucks, vans, whatever they are, they don't have like a freaking door. So like obviously, like he was able to hear us. And then my dad asked if he can take the letter that we were supposed to give. And the guy was really nice about it. He was like, yeah, no problem. And then he took it, and oh my gosh, I was like imagine being at the lowest of the low, and then like a miracle. Like this literally felt like a miracle, because I mean, what were the chances that we stopped right next to like a post office guy? And then like my hopes just they skyrocketed. And then later in the year, I like found out that I got accepted, and I was just incredibly happy. And then a couple months later, I guess it just wasn't meant to be, and then the program got canceled. So that was fun. Definitely a roller coaster, like I mentioned. And yeah, so that's kind of the story about that. But anyway, that kind of relates to introductory astronomy, because I mean, working for NASA isn't like out of my potential career options. Like if I could somehow get there, that'd be pretty cool as like a programmer or software engineer, or I don't know, whatever. Actually, I don't know about software engineer. I was thinking about doing something that we have here called the 3-2 like engineering track, which basically we spend 3 years here at Bowdoin, and then we spend 2 years at either Columbia, Dartmouth, or Caltech. You get to apply to whichever one you'd like to get into. And I mean, obviously, I'd want to go to Caltech, being from California. It's just closer to home, less travel expenses and stuff like that. Yeah, and so it's basically like, so Bowdoin is like a liberal arts school, and they kind of pride themselves in the variety of like courses students take. Between STEM and humanities. It's not like universities where you're kind of just centered around one like topic or like whatever your major is. And so if I were to do the engineering track, it would have been pretty math and science heavy. And I don't know what it was, but like I would get 2 bachelor's degrees in 5 years. a BA from Bowdoin and then a BS from whichever college I went to afterwards. Both in computer science, of course, or computer engineering, I guess, technically. But anyway, yeah, so I was thinking about doing that for like the longest time. My high school counselor was trying to get me into it, or at least that was one of the main reasons why he wanted me to apply to Bowdoin. Or not that he wanted me to apply to Bowdoin, but it was just kind of like a bonus of applying to Bowdoin. The reason I applied here, because I'm a Questbridge scholar, so I got that full ride kind of thing for low income students, and I was able to do that. And honestly, I don't really know why I like picked Bowdoin. I think I just I was looking through their website and I was just like, yo, this looks dope. And also going across the country to the West Coast, I mean, that'd be really fun. And plus snow. It's been kind of like frosty a little bit. Apparently I haven't actually seen anything. But apparently there's like a flurry not too long ago. Which is according to my roommate who was on the last episode. He was like, yeah, no, it's kind of just like rain, but snowish, but it's more so rain. Which is, I mean, I don't know. I couldn't even imagine what that's like being from Southern California. And I mean, I pretty much lived in Southern California my whole life. We never went out to like, vacations in snowy places or whatever. You know what I mean? Like during the winters, we would go down to Mexico where it's, still pretty warm. And yeah, so, I don't know. It's like I've never really got to experience snowfall except this one time at my 5th grade science camp. It was like a week-long overnight kind of thing, where we went up to like the mountains and we slept in cabins on bunk beds, and we went out nature hiking and kind of like we had s'mores. And I just remember that on one of the nature walks, it actually started snowing, and it was snowing like really hard too. And I remember one of the camp counselors was like, if you look up to the sky as the snow is falling, it'll kind of look like, for those of you who have seen Star Wars, it'll kind of look like you're going through hyperspace. You know how like, I mean, yeah, if you've seen Star Wars, you know exactly what I mean. But yeah, and so that's just kind of like one of the memories that I'll always like keep with me, because well, I mean, it's like the only time I've ever seen snowfall. And I mean, I've been to some like mountains before where like they actually have snow. And like I've gone sledding a little bit, on like those big plastic ones. Yeah, oh man, those got torn up. It was pretty bad. But yeah, like I'd go with family and stuff. But it was like the snow was already there. It wasn't like snowfall, if that makes sense. So yeah, apparently it's been kind of like teasing us a little bit here at Bowdoin. But no major snowfall yet. Like we haven't actually gotten like inches, on the ground. So yeah, apparently it's like really fantastic the first time it snows, and then it gets boring really quickly. But I mean, I don't know. It's like snow is snow. Like I love snow. I say that and I've never even experienced it. Yeah. What song is this? Spotted Ace Trainer. Interesting. This is really cool. Yeah. So I was talking about snow. Yeah. I was talking about the NASA thing. Yeah, point is, astronomy has to do with NASA, right? So I was like, yeah, that's kind of why I wanted to take the course. Plus, it fills out one of like the college requirements to like graduate. So, I mean, it's kind of like a win-win there, I guess. Yeah, and then, so the way registration works here at Bowdoin is that it's not first come, first serve. So we have 2 rounds. Which basically everyone registers by a deadline, and then it kind of like takes however many what do you call it, like let's say there are 30 seats in the class, and then you have 35 students who register, or who register for that class, or not register but request that class. So basically what happens is that it'll kind of get like randomly selected, and then it'll put 30 students into that class, and then those 5 students will get shut out. And then if the class is available the following semester, it has to be the same class. You can register for it again, and you get something called Shoutout priority, which basically allows you, I would assume, almost guaranteed spot in the class for the next semester. Yeah. And they have preferences too. Like, for example, some classes are more geared towards like majors of that particular subject. So they'll place or they'll prefer majors above like just random first years who are just taking the class for fun. Yeah, and that kind of thing. So that's how it like works. And in the first round, I only got into 3 out of my 4 classes. I wanted to take this class called Technology and the Common Good, which is basically just talking about like the ethics and kind of like morality of like technology in society, and it's kind of like impact on humanity in terms of like artificial intelligence and stuff like that. So I was like, ooh, like this class really sounds interesting. And that's kind of like what I imagined when I thought computer science. So I was like, this is really like what I was envisioning, and it's a class, which is so cool. But I didn't get into it, so yeah. But I mean, that's fine. It was just a class entirely for fun and just for like what I assumed would be my liking. It wasn't like an actual like computer science course. It's actually under digital and computational studies, which is a more interdisciplinary approach of computer science. Yeah. And so it was actually like a writing course. It wasn't like, you're doing hands-on programming and stuff. And so those are just kind of like the topics of discussion you would talk about in that class. Yeah. And it's just, I don't know, it sounded really interesting. So I was like, why not? Yeah. Oh my God, this song's going hard. Okay. Wow. Yeah. I thought this was the chill playlist, but I mean, I guess it's considering I think it's literally the entire soundtrack, like the original soundtrack, but it's just covers by, like I said, Insane in the Rain music. Yeah, I think he's like a tenor sax kind of player, but he plays a variety of instruments, and some of these are even collabs. But yeah, I checked, and apparently his song, like he's okay with like me using the songs, or with anyone using his songs in like videos and streams, as long as one, you give him credit, and I think that's pretty much like the only requirement, which I did in the video. Plus I'll leave something in the description as well. But yeah, hopefully Nintendo or something doesn't like copyright my video though, because this is technically their music. I mean, even if it's like covered, it is very similar, and I can see how easily I can get shut down. But yeah, that was something he also said. He was just kind of like, just a warning though, you still might get DMCA'd. But yeah, I don't know. So I mean, I'm loving it so far. It's really keeping me going, actually. Sets kind of like an undertone of ooh, totally switch gears there. Yeah. I don't know, man. Like, if you haven't really played a Pokemon game before, honestly, there's so many out there. It's kind of hard to like just choose or to tell you which one to play. Yeah. Anyway, sorry, I was just checking my phone there. See, I can't do that when I have. I can do that when I have guests. Just quickly check my phone. But when it's a solo episode, I don't really have that same room to like kind of let others speak while I do so. But yeah, I'm gonna be throwing around some discs later with the Frisbee team, and yeah, man, it's I don't know, Frisbee's fun. So is Pokemon. You should try both, honestly. Right. And so I was talking about registration. What was I talking about? Oh, right. So the whole DCS course. Yeah, I didn't get into it. And so I had to choose another class for round 2, which is similar to round 1, except you can only register for classes with open seats, obviously. And I went for this one class called English Composition, which is literally just writing essays. And I mean, my friends were kind of like, Michael, what are you doing? But I mean, I feel like I need a, so, okay, there's some more backstory. So I wanted to, I totally regret this. I'm kind of dumb. So I kind of like came to Bowdoin during the summer to do this summer program. I've mentioned this a lot of times before on the show. And a lot of my guests have actually been from that same program. Just because we lived together for a month, you know, it's like you really get close to these people, and a lot of these are still like my close friends here at school. So yeah. So we took a class over the summer with one of the professors here, and that same professor, it was pretty much like a first year writing seminar, except it was just kind of like preparing us for that it's basically just essay writing and, you know, doing reading and having discussions and stuff like that. Pretty much a first year seminar, except we got like half credit for the class or something. And my summer professor, he sent me an email with something called like the writing assistant application, which is basically here at Bowdoin, they have like something called the Baldwin Center for Learning and Teaching, I think, the BCLT. And it, like there they have writing assistants and Q tutors. So writing assistants obviously help you write essays and stuff for your classes, and you can go to them and they serve as a resource, and they'll walk you through your essay, help you make your ideas more clear. They'll revise for grammatical errors and stuff like that. And they'll just overall like polish up your essay and help you kind of find some kind of structure to it if you're still coming up with ideas and stuff. Or they'll like, you know, help you dissect the prompt, like pretty much everything that has to do with writing an essay. That's what writing assistants are for. And then what's it called? So my professor sent me an email, you know, encouraging me to apply, and I was going to, but I just kept putting it off, and I was like, I don't know about how I feel, like maybe I'll see how I feel in a couple of days or whatever. And I like forgot about it, and then when I finally decided, you know what, I should just do it, right? Like there's no harm in applying, getting in and saying no, you know what I mean, rather than just not doing it at all. And then when I checked to like start the application, turns out it was due the day before, and I honestly, I don't even think that would have mattered, because like even if I did see it like the day before it was due, instead of seeing it after it was due, I don't know if it required any like recommendations or anything like that, which I probably would have been able to get pretty quickly anyway, but I just didn't even like see the application whatsoever. But yeah, so I basically I just wanted to kind of keep my writing skills nice and polished, which is why I kind of wanted to take this English composition course. And then of course, it's also very different from my 3 other classes that I mentioned, considering they're all mostly science and math heavy. and then this is like my only humanities course. So that's kind of like what I'm hoping to get. The English composition course only has 9 students, so it's a very intimate class. And I believe there were like 5 already registered from round 1, and then there was 3 pending requests, including me, for round 2. So if that stays the same, or even if one more person wants to request a class, I should be okay. And that closes later today. Today's Friday, the day before this episode goes up. This Friday morning, it's 11:36. Well, I guess it's almost noon anyway. But yeah, so it closes today at 5. And that's still a long time for someone to, you know, meet with their advisor and for them to recommend, why don't you take English composition, you know? It'll be good, you know, just for like writing college essays in general and helping you to learn how to do research and cite and all the fun stuff. Yeah, and if I did get into like the writing assistant program though, I mean it's like a job too, so like I'd get paid. But also I would have to have taken a class this semester. It's basically kind of like the same thing, except they teach you how to teach others to write, by giving you like a bunch of like a toolbox of like writing skills that you can share with your peers as you help them write their essay. But yeah, so it's kind of a similar class I feel, except they kind of look more at like the psychology maybe, and I don't know, just like learning skills in general too. But yeah, so English composition is what I'm shooting for, and those would be my 4 classes. And then if you don't have 4 classes, or like if you need 4 classes and you don't have the number of classes you need by the end of round 2, then there's a round 3, which basically is first come first serve basis, where you register for whichever classes are open after both rounds. And I feel like at that point it's just kind of like you get stuck with whatever works with your schedule, and there's really like not much room for options. Yeah, so that's how registration works. I know at least my girlfriend's college, they basically do it first come first serve. So it's like they open it at like, I don't know, a certain time on a day, and then everyone just like comes rushing in and they try to register for the classes they want. And obviously that's very hard on the system, and like it may cause a lot of severe lagging and crashes and stuff like that. So it can prove to be very frustrating, especially when like your class request is like loading, and then it's just not going through. And the next thing you know, oh crap, the class is filled, and then your request was denied. My Melanie had to deal with that a couple weeks ago. It's not fun. But I mean, I think she's somewhat satisfied with the classes she did end up getting, so it's always nice anyway. I don't know, I'm kind of surprised at how wide of a range there is when it comes to college classes. Like I would have never thought of taking like technology and the common good in high school, or like introductory astronomy in high school, because I mean those classes were just not like available at all, you know what I mean? So it's nice. I love having like so many options, and like the cool thing is that all of the requirements for like your major aren't super intense. Like you should be able to get them done easily by the end of your senior year, and also be able to take some classes for fun, which is kind of like, I guess, the point of a liberal arts education, just to kind of like make you well-rounded instead of only geared towards like just one kind of area of study. And this song also goes pretty hard too. Wow, we're really crushing it. This is Route 203. It's basically going in order of like the original soundtrack CD, which I know Pokemon releases like along with their games. It's just kind of like a soundtrack CD, which is cool. But yeah, I've been seeing like some gameplay because it came out yesterday for Australians. I'm talking about the new Pokemon remakes. Oh, by the way, yeah, these are remakes. They're not like new games. Like they're not new original games. They're remakes of Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, which came out back in like 2007, 2008. And they came out on the Nintendo DS, if you remember that. And so these are basically just the remakes where it's more polished and they have more quality of life changes to meet with like the current Pokemon games, and stuff like that. A bunch of new mechanics, bunch of new stuff like that. And it's basically just an updated version of the old DS games, and it's now on the Switch, the Nintendo Switch. So if you have that, and you are interested, it's a very cute game. It's like super adorable. It's like in chibi style, which I think it like offended a lot of people actually. They were like, "What is this? Ew." But I mean, I personally like it. I think it looks pretty dope. And yeah, I don't know. The Pokemon fan base can be kind of interesting. Although I don't know if it's as bad as the Smash community. Oh man, I don't know. It's just kind of interesting. I mean, I don't know too much about it, so I'm not gonna get into it. Because personally, I don't really find talking about topics I don't know about kind of like useful or like good for show in general. Oh, this is the Oreburg Gate. Yeah. So me and my brother are actually we're playing Platinum, which is of the same kind of generation of Pokemon games. So also like Pokemon games, what they'll do, and like if you already know all this, then it's kind of boring. And if you don't know this but aren't interested, I guess this can also be boring. But yeah, so Pokemon games usually, they haven't done this in a while actually. They actually haven't done this in such a long time. Yeah, so Platinum was the last time they did this, I think. I'm trying to remember. Okay, so basically, though Pokemon will always release 2 versions at the like beginning of that generation. And generation is just basically like defined as like a new region with a whole new Pokédex of Pokemon and new like what do you call it? Like a new rival, a new like evil team, a new everything really, new legendaries, new like stuff like that. Basically like new games, new original games are what's considered like a new generation. Sometimes as long as it's not like a side spin-off game. But anyway, So Pokemon will always release 2 versions. For example, they'll release Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, and then like a year later or something, you'll sometimes or back in the day they used to do this, they would release a kind of third version where basically it's like it's basically like a enhanced version where they kind of like fix what was wrong with the original games, and they, sometimes they'll expand the Pokédex and they'll just make it better overall. Yeah, and they'll have like new events and new everything. Like it's not necessarily a entirely new game. Like it's the same game, but it is much more refined and enhanced, and there are quite a bit of differences. So in Generation 1, which came out back on like the Game Boy, you had red, blue, and then the third version was yellow. And in Pokemon Yellow, your starter was all like, you had no choice. It had to be a Pikachu. And yeah, and it basically like different Pokemon were available. It was supposed to replicate like Ash and his journey from the anime. So it was very similar to that. Like for example, you couldn't evolve your Pikachu either, just like how in the anime, Pikachu always stays a Pikachu and doesn't evolve into a Raichu. Yeah, and then in Generation 2, you had Gold and Silver on the Game Boy Color, and then you had Pokemon Crystal, which kind of focused on an entirely new legendary. At least they have different legendaries on the box covers. And yeah, it's also a very similar game, except in Crystal, they made it so that you can actually choose your gender, which was a pretty big thing. And they didn't have that in Gold and Silver. So basically, in all Pokemon games before Crystal, you were only able to be a male protagonist. And then in Crystal, they introduced a female protagonist, which was pretty nice. And then third generation on the Game Boy Advanced, you had Ruby and Sapphire, and then the third version was Emerald. And Emerald pretty much brought like double battles, and they changed up the story a little bit to introduce a third legendary, which is kind of like the theme here, I guess. Yeah, and obviously it's like a lot harder and more I don't know. It's just like there's more events and stuff like that. I don't know. This is all before my time. Well, maybe not Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald, but the other two previous generations, of course. I wasn't even born yet when those games were made. And then you had Diamond and Pearl, and then Platinum just involved a lot more Pokemon, and they changed up the story, just kind of like what Emerald did as well. Yeah, they kind of changed the order of things, and they boosted the game up a little bit so that it's a little bit faster. Because oh man, in Diamond and Pearl, when you surf, it was incredibly slow. Surfing is basically when you get on top of a Pokemon and you use it to swim across bodies of water. And like the surfing animation was incredibly slow for Diamond and Pearl, and they kind of slightly made it faster in Platinum. So it's, like I said, just kind of like an enhanced, kind of just like better version of the previous games. And then where it kind of stops is the 5th generation, which came out in 2010. This generation I remember very clearly because it was kind of the first generation I like played like heavily. And I believe it might have been the second game I beat. So you also get remakes. Like I said, we have Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, which are remakes of Diamond and Pearl. But remakes started with Fire Red and Leaf Green. I don't know why this episode turned into a history of Pokemon games, but whatever. I'm like super passionate. I love Pokemon, in case that wasn't obvious. And so you had Fire Red and Leaf Green, which were remakes of Red and Blue. And why they changed Blue to Green, I don't know, because in Japan they released Red and Green, but in the US and like kind of everywhere else they released Red and Blue. And so I don't know what happened there, but I mean, I guess there is no like Aqua Blue or whatever. That doesn't exist, or at least officially. And then you have ROM hacks, which is just like an entirely new kind of realm of Pokemon games, but we're not going to get into those. And then for Gen 2, which are arguably some of the best Pokemon games out there, they made Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver for the DS, and that was the first game I beat like the champion and stuff. And I believe that was the very first game I like actually completed. Yeah, and then I had played Pokemon Diamond, I believe, around like before. And then I had played Ruby. I think Pokemon Ruby was my very first game. I also played Leaf Green, and I had also played Yellow and Red before that. I think those were like all my childhood games. And then I got Pokemon White, which is black and white, and they don't have like a Pokemon Gray or like an enhanced version. Instead, what they did was they created Pokemon Black and White 2, or Black 2 and White 2. And this is basically like a whole, it's kind of like a literal sequel actually. It takes place after the events of the first Black and White games. Oh, the song's nice. Floroma, I believe. Yeah. Like I said, I love it. It has like chapters, so it tells you which song is currently playing on YouTube. And so it's nice. We're almost getting to Eterna Forest. Eterna City, which is one of my favorite themes in the soundtrack of Diamond and Pearl. Yeah. And anyway, what was I gonna say? Right, I was talking about Black and White and Black and White 2. Yeah, so it's not like an enhancement, but it really was. They did enhance it a lot. Yeah, but anyway, and then the next generation was on the 3DS, and it was X and Y. And in X and Y, they never made like Pokemon Z, which everyone thought was going to come out, but that was in 2013, I believe. And yeah, and then they made remakes of Ruby and Sapphire, which I also played. Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, which were also some of my favorite games to play. I think my favorites would be like Pokemon Black 2 or Black 2, White 2, doesn't really matter. Pokemon Heart Gold, that one does matter. And then Pokemon Alpha Sapphire, which is the version I played. Yeah. And so Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire were kind of like the remakes. They totally remade, it was like a whole fresh start. Like they totally changed one of the towns. They introduced Mega Evolution. A whole new typing was added by the time Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire came out. So there was like a lot of changes from Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire from Ruby and Sapphire. And then after that, you have Gen 7, which is Sun and Moon, also on the 3DS. I believe that was 2016. And then 2 years later, I believe they released Ultra Moon and Ultra Sun. So it's, they're not sequels, like but they are kind of just like, I guess they're kind of enhancement, but they're not like, it's not like a third version, because they just made ultras of both games that were already kind of existing. So that was pretty much it. And then you go into generation, well, I guess technically Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee are also part of Generation 7, and those were the first Pokemon games on the Switch, where it's like you're an actual kind of like playing like in the overworld and stuff like that. And Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee are kind of like a remake of Pokemon Yellow, except the big thing here is that it focused a lot around Pokemon Go mechanics. For example, being able to find Pokemon in the overworld instead of like running around in the grass to find hidden encounters. And I believe those games came out in 2017. Was it it might have been 2019 actually. I feel like it was 2019 because the Switch came out in 2017. So in 2019 they released Let's Go games. And as the title suggests, it was, heavily focused around Pokemon Go. So that also kind of split, or it was also pretty polarizing in the Pokemon community. And I played Let's Go Pikachu I beat it in 2 days. I think I played like 12 hours in one day, and then I played like 19 hours in another. I played for a total of like 19 hours. But it was like crazy. It was like the only thing I was playing. One of my friends let me borrow it over the summer, and it was like, it wasn't even his game. Like someone let him borrow it and then let me borrow it. So I was like very quick to give it back, or I was on like a bit of a time crunch and I had to give it back. But it was a really fun game, I'd say. I didn't get the chance to like explore the post game, which is what's generally considered after you beat the main story and the Elite Four and Champion. I guess not. Well, actually, yeah, no, they did have that in Sun and Moon. But anyway. And then after Let's Go, you had Sword and Shield. Right? Wait. When did Sword and Shield come out? Was that also 2019? I think Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee came out in 2018. And then Sword and Shield came out in 2019. Because they've been out for a while. I don't think they were not released in 2020. Because Pokemon likes to release their games in the fall. Like November is their usual release date for these games. So then Sword and Shield is the current, like the latest. Well, I guess not anymore, but they're like the latest generation. It's Generation 8. I think now there's like a total of 898 Pokemon to collect. So catching them all has proven to be quite the mission since, the original 151. And then now in 2021 they released Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, which are remakes of Diamond and Pearl, like I mentioned. And what's interesting is that usually with the remakes, they kind of like introduce something huge that's totally different from the original games. And I think this is similar to Fire Red and Leaf Green, the remakes, because Heart Gold and Soul Silver, well, actually Heart Gold and Soul Silver didn't change much from the original games either. I guess Oraz was the only one. So like Fire Red and Leaf Green and Heart Gold and Soul Silver kind of stayed true to their like original games, except they like I think Heart Gold and Soul Silver added the battle frontier, and then Fire and Leaf Green added like the whole Sevi Islands and stuff like that. So like there's entirely new locations, and then like Oraz was, I don't want to say Omega Ruby Heart Gold. Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire every time. But like those games like completely changed it. And then I guess they must have faced a lot of backlash because Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl also are very like true to the original games until the post game, which I heard is very interesting. I actually don't know a lot about these games, and I'm probably not going to be able to play them until like Christmas time. So when I go back home, because I don't have a Switch here. I've been thinking about getting the Switch Lite, but I also don't want to drop like $200, $300 or however much they cost. But yeah, I don't know. It's like just because I've been wanting to play games here, and like the only games I really get to play are what's it called? Like I have first of all mobile games, which and then we also have like I downloaded an emulator on my MacBook, and it's like it can only be so much fun, but like I wish I did bring my Switch, but I also like left it because it was kind of a hassle to pack. And then also like my siblings back home still like they used it a lot more than I did, and I figured I was going to be really busy here at Bowdoin, so I kind of like left it there. But yeah, damn, it's tough because like there's so many times where it's just like, oh, I wish I had a Switch so that I can just go down to the store in downtown Brunswick and pick up a copy of these games and just play them over Thanksgiving break, because they came out just in time for Thanksgiving break and I can't play them. Anyway, first world problems. I'm such a baby, huh? Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. It's just like I've been playing Pokemon since I was like 7. So, it's just like this is like a really big thing for me. I think Diamond is my little brother's favorite game. Of course, I got them into Pokemon as well. Yeah, me and my brother play. Oh, that's what I was talking about. Me and my brother are currently playing a game together. We're doing something called a randomizer Soul Link Nuzlocke, which sounds crazy, I know, but point is, it's just a harder challenge of the original games, and we modified it so that Pokemon encounters are random, so they're not like the original game. And then a Soul Link just pretty much means that our Pokemon are connected. So for example, if I catch a Pokemon in a specific location and my brother catches the same, or like a Pokemon in that same location, then those Pokemon are pretty much linked together. And the way we play it is if one of them faints or dies, like loses all of its HP, then we cannot use it anymore. And so for example, if I were to lose a Pokemon, then whichever Pokemon was linked to my brother's, or whichever of my brother's Pokemon was linked to mine also goes down. And so that's kind of like the challenge. And that's part of what we call a Nuzlocke, which is it's just pretty much like you have like limited encounters, so you can't just catch everything. Then you have to nickname your Pokemons, and then you also have to like if they were to die in battle, then you can't use them ever again. It's kind of like Fire Emblem for those of you. That's probably like a less of a pool, but yeah, Fire Emblem's kind of the same way, where if one of your warriors like dies, then they're just gone. Yeah, man, see, threw me back a little bit from when I played Fire Emblem. But yeah, no, it's just it's you have to be like pretty strategic, and it's just there's more stakes, because usually you can just revive them and keep playing with your same team. But yeah, apparently Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl are actually pretty difficult. So I've heard. Yeah, and of course, like if you watch any Pokemon YouTuber at the moment, they're just all playing the same game. And yeah, so it's very nice. Yeah, I'm super excited to play it. Like I mentioned way at the beginning of the episode. And yeah, I think it'll be a nice time. I'll play it alongside my brother. And see, that's the thing. It's like the way they kind of get you here is they release two versions because they have version exclusives. So it's like you can only get some Pokemon in one game that you cannot get in the other version. And so like another reason I'd want to get like a Switch Lite is one, because it's handheld, so it's easier to pack. And two, it like I don't have a TV at my dorm, so it's like I don't have anything to connect a whole Switch like the original ones to the TV. Like I don't have a reason to get the dock and everything. And then three, I'd be able to play with my siblings back home through online play. But I kind of need a whole separate Switch for that, and I don't know. Like I said, I don't know how I feel about just buying another one. Yeah, I've actually been talking for quite a while now. That's I surprised myself. But yeah, I mean, I've literally only talked about like my classes and then Pokemon. That's kind of what's been on my mind. Oh, stretch break. Yeah, I mean, I kind of love having the music in the background. It's actually pretty nice. I don't know. It's like Pokemon music just lifts up my mood. You know what I mean? I guess question of the week. Like, what does that for you? Let me mark that. What is it that just totally you can rely on to just lift up your spirits? Whether that may be like music or talking to someone you like, or I don't know, doing something you love. Like, what is it that just, lifts up your mood? Yeah, I don't know. I'm super happy right now. I've been in a good mood for the past couple of days, actually. It's been kind of rough. There's just a lot going on, and I'm like so ready for Thanksgiving break. Thanksgiving break got extended here at Bowdoin. And so now we get an entire week's worth of break, which is very, very nice. And I feel like it's very, very much needed. Because I was honestly kind of starting to feel a little bit burnt out. And I mean, yeah, so basically I just have Thanksgiving break. So that's like next week. And then I'll have 2 more weeks of classes, and then we'll have 1 more week of exams, and then I'm free. Ooh. Oh, I'm so excited to go back home. Yeah. Like I said, I couldn't go back. Well, I mean, I could have, but it would have been really expensive for me to go all the way back to California. For just like a week. I don't know. It would have been like super last minute, and buying plane tickets last minute is very, very cost inefficient. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, damn, I don't know. And then like, I get to go back and I get to hang out with my family. I get to sleep back in my own bed, which is honestly kind of the same as my bed here. At school. And then I don't know, like, and then I also get to see my girlfriend too. That's also going to be very nice. Yeah, so I'm really happy, and I'm like really excited that, and also kind of nervous that this semester really flew by so fast. I've been here since July 15th, and it is currently 11/19, so I've been here for 4 months. That's wild. I've never been away from home for that long of a time. But honestly, I think it was a really good move for me, because it really like kind of spurred me to become a lot more independent. I felt like this is one of those things where it's like I didn't feel like I was ready. And it's just, I don't know, like I was home alone. I was home alone for like a week and a half before I even flew. Like I flew entirely on my own too. Well, actually I wasn't entirely alone. I did have Lexi and Danny, who if you haven't seen their episode with them, it's titled Cali Gang. You can find it and maybe, I don't know, watch it after this episode. But I mean, if you're at this point of the episode, you're probably already done listening to my voice. But it's okay, because you'll also hear Lexi's and Danny's. Anyway, yeah, and I don't know, like, it was really interesting. And then just to like, I came here and I got my first job, and I've been eating a lot. Well, I've been eating somewhat healthier, and I've been going to the gym, and I've been getting involved, and I've been continuing the podcast, and like, so many things are just great in my life, that like, it really it leaves me with little to complain about, which I'm so grateful to be able to say. And I mean, I love doing what I do, and it's just, I love like spending time with the people who I care about. And yeah, it's just very, very, very wholesome, very positive, and I'm just, happy to be here. But I'm also like super happy and willing to go back home. It's been a minute since I've seen my family. And sure, we'll have like video calls and stuff. And same thing goes for my girlfriend too. I'm doing long distance, which is no easy thing to do. Yeah, actually, well, that just kind of reminded me of a dream. For whatever reason, I had a dream where like I was with my brother, and for whatever reason, I thought he was in a long distance relationship. That just tripped me up a little bit. Yeah, I've actually been remembering my dreams when I wake up a little bit recently, which is interesting because that almost never happens to me. Like I mean, I just kind of fall asleep and I wake up and I don't really have any recollection of like what happened while I was asleep, or like what happened in my mind while I was asleep. Dreams are just interesting in general. Like, I feel like they're so mysterious, but also we kind of know a lot about them. I'm not entirely sure. I'll have to do my research on that, but yeah, I don't know. It's just like the whole concept of like dreaming is insane. Like the fact that you can like create entire stories in a couple of hours and like live through them in real time, or at least it feels like you're living through them in real time. Yeah, what song is it? Oh, this is Eternal City. I love this song. Yeah, I don't know. Dreams are amazing. I'm super happy in my life. Well, actually, dreams are only amazing when they're dreams. Once they become nightmares, then it's kind of like, eh. I did have like a bit of I wouldn't say like it's a nightmare, but it wasn't a happy dream. Or it wasn't like I woke up and I felt like uncomfortable, I was just talking about how like I remember my dreams. I forgot what it was exactly. Actually, I don't even remember what it was in general. But I just remember waking up and I was like late to class, so I was already in a bad mood when I woke up, and then I was like, oh crap, I overslept. Yeah, so that wasn't fun. But I mean, like, overall, I've kind of been doing really well. Actually, no, yeah, I have. What am I saying? Actually, no, I'm kidding. Yeah, it's, I think it's just because, like, all the days go by so fast that they kind of blur together. And it's like, you really can't slow down, because otherwise college life is just gonna, like, totally overwhelm you. If you try to like take a little break, which is why I'm super happy that we're getting the whole week off. And I don't know exactly what I'm going to be doing. I actually have to record another one of these episodes by the time, like, before the college closes, because I'm not going to have access to the studios while I'm here, at least for like half of the break. Damn, so like I'm going to record an episode today, and then I'm going to record another episode on like Tuesday or something, and then that'll be it, unless I do, like, we take it back to like the super vintage on my mind episodes where I recorded using voice memos and then just kind of uploaded that to my computer and said that's a podcast episode. which is also kind of nice. Like that literally is a podcast episode. Like you can make it, or you can make a lot with very little resources, but you can make even like tons more with awesome resources. Like this Rodecaster Pro, it's pretty nice. And then these microphones, and the whole computer, which I never had. So it's just, yeah, I don't know. I've been really milking the resources here at Bowdoin too. Both financially and just like academically and socially and everything really. So take advantage of the stuff that you are granted, because you don't want to like just take things for granted. Oh, this is so nice. Yeah, oh my gosh, we have a concert that was postponed, like for my concert band in school. So it's December 5th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And it's, yeah, we're performing a concert. The theme is very kind of dark. It's, mostly focused around like racism and kind of like riots and protests. And it's a very interesting program that I feel like everyone should listen to, because it'll be nice. And also I'm playing, and yeah, I think you can catch it at I'm not entirely sure. I think it's like Bowdoin. I don't want to give you guys something wrong. Hold on. I remember sending my mom the link. Let's see if I could find it real quick. Give me a second, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy the music. Oh, okay. So it's bowdoin.edu/live. Yeah, that's that. Whoops, that's not what I wanted to do. Uh-oh. No, we're good. Yeah, so you can catch us bowdoin.edu /live, and you'll probably be able to find a bunch of events that day, because that weekend, that Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I believe, are filled with like performances. So even if you want to catch our concert band and some other programs and like groups, that'd also be pretty cool. But yeah, just it's very, very nice, very nice. Oh man. See, these podcast episodes are like so fun, but they're also so draining. Like every time I finish an episode, I'm always like, I just want to take a nap. But then I have to edit. Actually, I don't have to edit. I think I just have to adjust noise levels, if like the music is too loud in the like episode, and stuff like that. But aside from that, like I should be fine. I don't cuss, unlike the last episode where my roommate Cole really popped off. Yeah, no, this is pretty funny. And stuff like that. So I don't really have like edits to do. It should be a rather fast process. Yeah, it's just kind of like waiting for it to render on like Premiere Pro, and then waiting for it to upload on YouTube and stuff like that. That's mostly like what takes a little bit, which actually it doesn't take a long time. Like, so back in the day, I used to record on my phone, and then I'd upload it to like Google Drive, and then I would download it on my like really old laptop. It was like from like 2013 or something. Super slow. It was like an Intel Pentium chip or something. Incredibly slow. I know some of you guys may have cringed at the sound of that, but yeah, it was pretty slow. And then I would use this like free editor. So I mean, I don't know. Yeah, it's like that's just kind of like my whole setup and everything. And then it would take about an hour to render an entire video for YouTube, and it was always just literally like the voice track and a picture and then some text. That was like always our videos way back in the day. The what do you call it, the format, and like I guess the visual format for these videos are a lot simpler. Now, I mean, it's literally just the image of my logo, which, by the way, I love the new logo. It's very, I love it. Like I was kind of like interested, or like I was kind of scared at like how it was going to be received. I was like, oh man, I'm changing the whole thing. It's just going to be like, but I think it's like a modern classic look, or a modern look with like classic kind of features and stuff, or at least from the old logo, which some of you may have like never seen, which is kind of wild. Yeah. So like that whole process, and now like it'll probably take me 30 minutes or like 20 to 25 minutes to render a whole video on the MacBook. It does have the M1 chip, but it doesn't, this is from 2020, I believe, so it's not the the newly released 2021, like the M1 Pro and M1 Max chips. Bro, those are insane. But yeah, it's kind of dangerous. I feel like I'm slowly becoming an Apple fanboy, just because like literally all the Apple devices I have were given to me for free, so like I haven't really truly experienced how expensive it is to like be a part of this ecosystem. But the school gave me both the MacBook and the iPad for free, kinda. When I graduate, I'm able to buy it for $1. And the song is very nice. No, it's actually wild how like awesome that is. And then my iPhone was a graduation gift, and then my AirPods was also like a gift. So all of, like I only had to pay for like the insurance or something, but they paid for like the entire thing. So it's just kind of like wild that I have all this. And then the only thing that I'm really like missing is the Apple Watch. But honestly, I don't really know how I feel about getting an Apple Watch. Like I already have a watch, and I've been wearing a watch since I was like in 6th grade, and like ever since then, my cousin gave me my first watch, and it was just because he bought like a 3-pack or something, and he like offered one to me, and I was like, sure. And they were like G-Shock watches, and I'm actually wearing a G-Shock right now. But yeah, I believe it was like, I forgot what color it was, but it was pretty colorful. I remember that. And then ever since then, I've like always had a watch. And then ever since like elementary school, I was really big into like bracelets. So you'd always find me with bracelets on my right hand, and then a watch on my left, or wrist, not hand. And like right now, I'm wearing a bracelet that I bought in Boston. It's from like an Asian store in like Boston's Chinatown. It's like wood, like beads, which is really nice. I don't know, it looks nice. It's very, very interesting. I think it's supposed to be like a lucky kind of bracelet. But yeah, I mean, I've been feeling pretty lucky lately, so yeah. Actually, no, I'm not even feeling, just knowing how lucky I am. I mean, geez, I'm using like $1,200 setup with $1,000 like iPad, and using like $1,000 phone with like another $1,200 like laptop. Like that's actually wild. And I know like money isn't everything, but like when you think about it, like all the really nice things like are pretty dang expensive. Yeah, so it's very like I just never thought I'd be here. You know what I mean? Like I've had an Android my entire life. This is my very first iPhone. I've never even had an iPad, but I used to have like a tablet. I think I started with an Asus. I don't know how you pronounce that, but yeah, like like those laptops. I used to have like an Asus tablet. That was my very first tablet, and then I had I think it was like a Amazon Fire tablet for a little bit too. That was like my Christmas gift a while ago, and I remember immediately buying the DS emulator, and that is like literally the only thing I would play, aside from like Clash of Clans or something. Yeah, which by the way, lately I've been playing Clash Royale, and I also have been playing, what do you call it? Pokemon Go. I'm playing that a lot actually, because there's so many Pokestops here at Bowdoin. Yeah, so those are kind of like the two games I've been playing on my phone. Like I said, I've been really wanting to play like actual Switch games, which I know to a lot of people that's kind of like laughed upon. Like, oh, you play a Nintendo? What are you, a little kid? Like, yes, I am. Leave me alone. Sorry, I don't play like Call of Duty Vanguard and stuff like that, or like Battlefront, or I don't know, Xbox and PS5 games. Yeah, no, that's a little too crazy for me. Never grew up with it, so it's like, yeah, I've always been a Nintendo kid. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I like this theme too. What is it? Like a galactic building kind of thing? Yeah. All right. I think that's a good spot to wrap this episode up. Thank you guys so much for listening to the show. We're gonna have another episode probably, if I am able to record it on time. Like I mentioned, I would have to do it on Tuesday and then have it uploaded for that Saturday. So it's a very, like, that's literally in Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. That's in like 5 days, for me, well, including today. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to like talk. I mean, I guess I didn't really talk about much this episode, just, kind of talking about like my course registration, along with some little backstory stories. And then like I went through like history of Pokemon for a little bit. Actually, not for a little bit. I talked about it a lot, way too much even. And I even talked about how like good my life is and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, hey, you got to be grateful for like the things you have. I'm not trying to say like my life is better than yours. I'm just trying to say that like I'm really happy with the opportunities I've been given, and just like I feel incredibly like blessed to like even be sitting in this room recording a show. Like this is such a luxury. Like that's kind of like how I view it. I'm not saying like, oh, I'm the best and yeah, like look at me and all my super expensive stuff and yeah, look at all this. No, like that's not like what I'm going for here. Yeah, so I mean, I just wanted to make that clear because I mean, like kind of thinking about it, maybe some of you guys weren't even kind of taking it that way, but you never know. So yeah, anyway, I think that's gonna wrap up. That's gonna be it for this episode. Again, thank you guys so much for listening, and thank you, Insane in the Rain, for giving me permission. I guess it didn't directly give me permission, but I mean, it says that I could use it, so I mean, shout out to him. Again, I'll leave his description in the channel. I'll leave his channel in the description. Yeah, with that being said, this has kind of been on my mind. Hopefully there's a new episode tomorrow. And if not, I mean, not tomorrow, next week. And if there isn't an episode, make sure you follow at OMM the podcast on Instagram. I'll probably post something like that saying, hey, decided to take a break, or hey, we're having an episode, or hey. Yeah. Okay. That's going to be it for me. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Spend some time with family, eat lots of turkey. If you're American, of course. And if not, I mean, just eat a lot, like enjoy yourself. And I have a good week, have a good weekend, have a good life. Yeah, I guess I'll see you guys next week, but if not, 2 weeks from now. Bye. Peace.